My name is Vanessa John, and I am delighted to welcome you to the first Lifelong Learning Women's Forum of 2023. You made it. Congratulations. Happy New Year. And a special greeting from Kathy Donhockle. She is our benefactor and host, and this is her beautiful home. She is under the weather, but she is upstairs listening in. So we can all just say hello, Kathy. So thank you again for your generosity. And I am so excited for what is in store for you today. We have two incredible speakers. You will not be disappointed. You can see all the doodads that are on your table. They have prepared, they have thought of you, and they come with so much expertise and knowledge. So sit back, relax, know you're in a safe space. We really invite you to participate. This is going to be interactive, so you have the freedom to express yourself in this place. We're all women striving for the same things. So thank you so much for your participation. And before I welcome them, I'd like to welcome an alum who's going to start us off in prayer and then introduce our speakers. Her name is Dr. Huey Barnes, and she is what we refer to at Pepperdine as a tsunami. So at Pepperdine, we are the waves. So when you are an alum, you're a wave of Pepperdine. Well, she has multiple degrees from Pepperdine. Therefore, she's a tsunami. She's earned an MBA from the business school, and she has a doctorate from the Graduate School of Education and Psychology. She's an avid supporter of education, and she's served on the board of the environmental charter schools in the South Bay. She was a former member of our GSEP Board of Visitors. She's currently the education director at Inglewood Southside Christian Church, where she's been an active member for several decades. Dr. Barnes has also worked at the Department of Veteran Affairs and is a mediator for LA County Small Claims Court. So if you would, join me in welcoming Dr. Huey Barnes, who will lead us in prayer and introduce our speakers today.
Good morning, friends. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
If you were like me, it took a minute to get here today, so let's take a deep breath. And let's go to God in prayer. Father, I thank you personally as your daughter, the servant of Christ, for getting us here safely. I thank you for the host of this beautiful home and the surrounding, and for Vanessa and the team that put this together. Now, Father, may our lifelong learning begin and stay with us as these two dynamic speakers come and minister to us in this academic setting. What a beautiful way to say good morning, Lord. So we thank you in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Dr. Nicole Johnson is the founder and CEO of Tetra Core Consulting. This is a certified women-owned consultancy firm, and they provide coaching services to the C-suite and executive women leaders on emotional intelligence, leadership development, positive organizational change, and general management training. With decades of experience in education, negotiation, and coaching, Dr. Johnson was nominated for the Black Business Leader Hall of Fame Pioneer in Education Ruby Bridges Award. She teaches negotiation and emotional intelligence as a part of WIN Summit, which stands for Women in Negotiation, and it's in partnership with Columbia University. Dr. Nicole earned her doctorate of education in organizational leadership from our own Pepperdine University in 2012. She possesses a master's degree in education, learning, and teaching, and a Bachelor of Arts in English from my son's alma mater, University of San Diego. Let's go. Dr. Johnson's heart is really set on supporting others to move beyond where they currently are to where they want to be. She leads from experience. She leads with compassion. And she holds the title of #1 supporter of many female achievers. Her sister is Dr. Laura Manyweather, and she is the co-founder of Tetra Core Consulting and the amazing sister of Dr. Nicole. They're not twins. I already walked up to Dr. Manyweather and tried to be. You know how we're supposed to be when we network. Hi, Nicole. No. Dr. Manyweather brings 29 years of experience with private corporations and 12 years in academia and delivers positivity, inclusiveness, adaptability, and restorative leadership skills to organizations and individuals. She earned her terminal degree from California State University, Long Beach in educational leadership, with an emphasis on social justice for the formerly incarcerated Black male students in community colleges. She possesses her MBA in finance from Argosy University and received her Bachelor of Science from California State University, Dominguez Hills. Presently, she teaches business courses to emerging leaders and aspiring business owners. Please help me welcome these dynamic sisters. Dr. Johnson, Dr. Manyweather, come on up.
Good morning and welcome. Thank you so much for having us. We love Pepperdine, we do. I wanted just to start off, is this okay? I wanted to start off and say, when we begin to choose to lead our life with purpose and service and leadership, centered on God and grounded in faith, you cannot lose. You cannot lose. No need to worry. No need to worry about the economic pressures, the cycles, COVID. There's just no need to worry at all. When you're centered and grounded in God and Christ and faith, you have what you need. You're perfectly equipped. And so we've come today to design this wonderful, wonderful event, very engaging, interactive, so you can laugh, you can talk, we can watch a couple little videos, talk about gratitude, to help you renew, reset, restore, and reframe, and just remind you of some practices that you probably already know. It's just to bring it back to the forefront, just to bring it back up again. And so to remind you every day in every way in every walk that this is the way to be. And sometimes it may be tough, but you have to go with the burden and the blessing. You got to grab both like that at the elbows. You have to have the burden and the blessing. And so lately, would you click there? Lately we've, one more. We've been experienced by COVID. And, we understand that COVID changed everything for us. You can flip it, literally, on our heads. Pepperdine, the world, it changed everything, how we interact with one another, how we socialize. It changed how we do business, how we work together. And so it's like a flipping back, a renewing. And so Vanessa said, kickstart the new year. Kickstart it with reframing, renewing, resetting, and restoring. So we want to help you take charge so that you can have new practices that can help you reset your heart, restore your personal energy, and push back some of the negativity.
Yes, so you have pens, and you can take notes if you want or just listen, but we do want you to take this all in, and please, if you have any questions as we're speaking, please just step right in.
Yes. You have the power to reframe and reset the way. So today you'll learn how to reduce some negativity, practice powerful ways to reset and restore your personal energy. Our primary purpose here is to give you real tools grounded in research to enhance your lives. Yeah. So reframing, is to just to do it again, to do it all over, to see things differently. Reframing is part of helps you with current situations, helps you adapt different perspectives, which can be tremendously helpful in solving current everyday problems, help you with creative decision making, and just with new learning. Reframing requires a growth mindset. And when you have a growth mindset, it's like you're getting out of the box. Sometimes we do the dance and we're in the box with people. It's like, I'm out of the box with Huey, I'm in the box with Jenny. I'm out of the box with her, but I'm in the box with Jenny. And so you can get in the box with people and out of the box with people. It's a flow. But when you have a mindset of an outward, you're using an outward mindset, it's more as, I see people as people. I'm seeing people as people, not as irrelevancies, not as objects, not as vehicles, not like, if she could just get out of the way, we can get on with it.
Right.
But seeing that person with the same challenges, issues, desires, need, bleed, wants, and greeds as you. Yeah. Cognitive reframing is a process we use all the time because our Father started with a no. Yeah, know everything. So reframing helps you to really challenge situations and then change them.
So when you say our Father, please be specific.
Oh, not this Father. This our Father, right? Our Father, but then like our Father.
In the home.
In the home.
Right.
Yes.
And so you'll hear us as we present that a lot of our childhood, right, having our mom and dad in the house and that dynamic, having an immigrant mom, American dad, right, and so having those two cultures. And so you'll see how we've merged those, oh my God, how we've merged those and those worlds and how we're here today.
Yes, yes.
So when you said our Father, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and the reframe, it's when you reframe something, you're taking a situation that you previously thought maybe stressed you out, stressed in some way that you weren't able to handle the pressure, right? But in our EDOL program, it taught us that if you believe that something has stressed me out, which is really desserts backwards, you can write it, it's desserts backwards. If something has stressed me out, then I'm believing that I don't have the wherewithal or the power to change it. Now think about that for a moment. If you're saying I'm stressed, you're also agreeing to I don't have the resources, the wherewithal, the power, the choice to change it. Okay, so I'm not saying stressed anymore. I might say I might be a bit taxed or a little overwhelmed, but I'm going to refrain from the word stress. So, by reframing, it's going to help you take a flexible, more open-minded approach to how you view situations, to reduce the cortisol, to be more resilient, rebound, and recover faster, right? Bounce back, improve your relationships, see and act on new opportunities. Someone's like, look at that cute little shop, we should go. And you're like, next week. Yeah, right now. Right now, we're going in the shop, right? Oh, look at that cute little restaurant, we should go and just have appetizers right now. That's the new opportunity, that's the learning, that's the new right then and there when you literally take the action in that moment. Even if you go and get a baguette, a cup of coffee. You've experienced something new. It's totally changed your trajectory for the day. Be more thoughtful and open-minded. Find greater happiness.
Our thoughts, feelings, and behaviours continually affect each other, and it's easy to develop negative patterns where unhelpful thoughts lead to unhelpful feelings and actions. Sometimes this can become a vicious cycle. Many of us don't realise that we can influence this process and that this can improve our mental health. The best way to deal with these unhelpful thoughts is to recognise them, challenge them, and see if you can replace them. Some people call this the catch it, check it, change it approach. With practice, this can help us look at perceived problems from a different perspective. For example, you might be worried about an important task you have to do at work, convinced it will go wrong and everyone will think you're a failure. Rather than immediately accepting this thought and feeling even worse, take a moment to catch it and check it. Ask yourself whether there's good evidence for it or if there are other explanations. Try thinking about what you would say to a friend who was thinking this way. Finally, see if you can change the thought for a more positive one. Maybe, I'm prepared, I've put a lot of work in, and I'm going to do my best. Sometimes you will be able to change the thought to a positive one, but don't worry when at other times you can't. There are no right or wrong answers. It's about learning to think more flexibly and be more in control. By catching the thought, checking it, and seeing if you can change it, with practice, you can help break the negative cycle.
It's difficult to see the upside. It takes work. Literally, we have to put effort into looking at the bright side of things. So we cannot assume that our mind is just going to do that automatically. It's very easy to just keep tilting back towards the negative. And I would like to tell you, so my sister and I, so Nicole's younger than me, right? And so, you as the big sister, you kind of feel like you're the leader. You're in charge because you're the firstborn, right? There were times in my adulthood where I'm working at or in a position and my sister's like, you don't deserve that. You don't have to take that. But every day I was going because I felt like, well, I'm helping provide with the family. I need to contribute. And my sister's like, no. And I'm sitting there going, where does she get this from? Like, how does she know to say, no, I don't want to do that, right? And so I was feeling negative, and I would call her in the morning, and she would talk to me on her drive-in too, and she would be like, sister, you got this. And she was like, and you don't have to be there. In fact, we can just go travel somewhere. And I'm like, are you for real? But she was, she was, right? So I want you to know that it does take practice, right? To reframe and to turn down that negative talk. Because sometimes we'll get up and we'll just say, I don't want to do this, and then it's like, oh, I can do this. I would love to do this, or I want to do this. Yes. Right. When negativity or doubt try to take up space in our minds, we must counter those thoughts with God's words and speak His truth to every lie.
Absolutely.
Isn't that something? Oh, wow. Right? just flip it, right? Just flip it.
Okay, so you got a new sweater. It looks great, and you're getting tons of compliments. But then, just one person says something snarky about it. And even though you got all that praise, you can't help but stew over the negative comment. Why is that? Why does our mind seem to dwell on the negative?
A lot of my research focuses on how people tend to get stuck in particular ways of thinking and what enables them to get unstuck.
Allison Ledgerwood is a psychology professor at UC Davis.
I get to study how humans think and how we could maybe think better.
We all know the expression about seeing a glass as half full or half empty. It isn't just what you see, but how you see it. And the way you describe that glass to people can really change how they feel about it. Allison wanted to know what happens when you try to switch your way of thinking, from the positive frame to the negative frame, or vice versa. Her research team brought 2 groups of people into the lab and told them about a new surgical procedure. Group 1 was told that the procedure has a 70% success rate. For Group 2, they framed it as a 30% failure rate.
It's the same exact procedure, and they're giving you the exact same information, but one doctor is focusing on the part of the glass that's full, and the other doctor is focusing on the part of the glass that's empty.
So, no surprise, people like the procedure when it's described in positive terms, and they don't like it when you focus on the failure rate. But then, the researchers pointed it out to the first group that you could also think of the procedure as failing 30% of the time. Suddenly, people didn't like it anymore. And when they tried a similar thing with Group 2, pointing out that the procedure had a 70% success rate, people didn't change their mind.
And over again in studies like that, we find that people seem to get stuck in the negative way of thinking about it. And it's hard for them to flip and focus on the positive.
So once you frame something negatively, it really sticks.
It makes sense from an evolutionary or functional perspective that our minds are built to look for negative information in the environment and to hold on to it once we find it.
Imagine your prehistoric ancestors. You don't want to forget that there might be a predator lurking around.
In many situations, we want our minds to be grabbed by the negative information so that we can fix problems when they're there.
But then, there are other situations where we want to get over some small imperfection or a bit of bad news when it's not helpful to fixate on the negative. What do we do then?
What I really take away from this research for my own life is that it's difficult to see the upside and that it takes work, literally, that we have to put effort into looking at the bright side of things, that we can't assume that our mind is just going to do that automatically, and that it's very easy to just keep tilting back towards the negatives.
And this is something you can counteract with practice, like spending a few minutes each day thinking about the things you're grateful for. Doing this regularly can help it become a habit. And it turns out that this negative bias can change over time. Remember when you were younger and any bad experience felt like the end of the world?
So this kind of pervasive negativity bias starts to diminish. And so in our research, we find that the stickiness of a negative frame seems to disappear entirely by the time people are in their 70s, and they seem to flow back and forth between negatives and positives much more easily.
So maybe that's something we can all be grateful for, that there are actually some good things about getting older. How do you get out of negative ways of thinking? Let us know in the comments below. And be sure to check out our other video all about the teenage brain. Remembering all the things you did as a teenager might make you cringe, but neuroscientists are learning that some of the most puzzling teenage behavior may actually serve an evolutionary purpose.
So one thing to note is that you could reframe. You can constantly reframe throughout the day, and understanding that you are not your thoughts. You know, thoughts are so fickle anyway, right? I just changed this channel on those things all day long. I'm like, not the megahertz. No, this is not the one. Because I can't trust my thoughts all the time, because sometimes they're just like pervasive or saddened or worrisome. And I'm like, and why am I thinking that right now? And here's the question, do I need that thought right now? Is it serving me? Is it helping me? Is it pushing me forward in a day? If not, I'm like, turn a station. The aim of Reframe is to help you shift from one perspective to be more empowered to act, to hopefully learn to do that at the same time. Also, many times, merely reframing your perspective on a situation can help you change and others change how you feel about the situation. So try this from Dr. McNamara. Shift away from negative feelings. Start to focus instead of oneself onto others. Shift away from victimization viewpoint to one of empowerment. Cultivate an outward mindset. Start to see people as people. Reframe how you speak to yourself. That internal dialogue, that internal chatter is so important because it's with me all day and because it knows me. It knows me.
Right. Yeah. And I also want to add, too, that when you're talking or someone calls you and you start off with, hey, how are you, get past the niceties, and someone says, how's your day or how's everything going? Oh, let me tell you, I was this, I had to do this with the kids, I had to do this, and then my husband did this, and then my friend called me and I was in the middle of a shower and I had to, it all starts with the complaining, right? The laundry list of what you had to do instead of what you can do, right? Or get to do, right? And so I am the go-to friend that people will call and say, I had a crappy day. Can you cheer me up? And I'm like, I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't know if I'm a one-man stand-up comic, but let's go. How was your day? And then and I'm like, okay, tell me something good. So this is how I reframe everything with even my students, right? They come in with all these things, and I said, tell me something good. I'll just interject. Tell me something good. And they're like what? What do you mean? I'm like, tell me something good. I want to hear something good. Like, I don't want to hear just, I understand you're upset and you have a complaint and you're venting, which is fine, but I would like to hear something good. So every time my friends call, they'll say, I didn't want to call you earlier because I didn't have anything good to share. Right. And I'm like, okay, it's okay. And then we'll talk. But then afterwards I go, tell me something good, So I just wanted to tell you that. Don't start off with, talk about some good stuff, right? Express gratitude. Gratitude is the best attitude. So you all have gratitude jars on your on the table. And these are for you to keep. And I love that. So here's what we're going to do. There's some Post-its in your little in the containers. And we would like for you to write down and put in your own jar what you're grateful for.
And write fast, because we're going to give you like 90 seconds.
Yes.
So you're just like thinking it and dropping it, thinking it and dropping it.
As many as you can. No, as many as you can within 90 seconds. What are you grateful for?
And why 90 seconds? Because it censors the left brain and it opens up your right brain, creativity to let it flow. You have no time to overthink it with 90 seconds.
So when you take these home, put them somewhere on your dresser, somewhere where where you can see it. And when you're not having that great day, please go inside that jar and pull one out, right? But what the goal is that we would like for you to continue this.
Yes.
And each day, I know the jar is small, so guess what? You may have to buy a bigger one. And then and then just keep adding. And then when you don't have that not so great day, if you can pull it out and then like, oh, okay, this is why I'm up and I'm moving and I'm going, right?
Right.
So thank you everyone for sharing.
Do you want to be happier, healthier, and an all-around better person? There's a way that is free, easy, and totally up to you. It's gratitude. Gratitude is much more than saying thanks. It's a way of seeing the world. And with practice, we can train ourselves to feel gratitude more frequently and powerfully. The scientific evidence is clear. Practicing gratitude is good for you and your loved ones. Grateful people get sick less, have healthier hearts, exercise more, get better sleep. Grateful people are more optimistic, overcome adversity better, find greater joy in life. Grateful people are more generous with their time and money, are more forgiving, and build better relationships with loved ones. Just like strengthening muscles, you can build gratitude simply by exercising it. So, how do you develop an attitude of gratitude? Take the first step now. Write a letter to someone you know and tell them why you are grateful for them. Or think about the blessings you may take for granted. Or start a gratitude journal at elementofgratitude.org and get serious about becoming more grateful. Thanks for watching.
So my sister has this Post-it, one of those big Post-its, and years ago, I walked in, I'm like, what is all this? Are you planning something? She was like, that's my gratitude wall. Would you like to read it? And I was like, sure. So as I'm looking at the different Post-its, I was like, I want to do this. And I will tell you, those of you who have children and you have them do that, it just takes them away from the everyday materialistic thinking, what's on social media. And when they're feeling a little not so great, like go to that gratitude wall, read something like, so I just wanted to share that. Renewing. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Renewing, to resume an activity after interruption. So we saw that COVID flipped everything on its head, right? And so when you're renewing, we're saying it from the assumption that we've been interrupted by something. But I was thinking about that and I was praying on that as well. And it was like, and yet he still prepared me and equipped me with everything I needed for this decade, for this time, because nothing is new and nothing is a surprise. And so I have the spiritual weapons, I have the capability, I have the wherewithal to get through it. And so this is the renewing part. Do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, constantly and constantly. We have Romans 12:2. So what do you do to renew your energy?
Renewing, connect with others often. Exercise and increase physical activity, as she just shared. Get grounded and out in nature more. Renew your spiritual walk. How many of you take spiritual walks or just take a walk? Awesome. Travel somewhere new. That's our thing. And plan creative artist dates that spark joy.
I want to say something about that getting grounded. That's like taking your shoes off.
Getting in the sand, yeah.
Putting that foot on the ground and in the sand and in the grass, letting the waves wash over. It's walking barefoot. It's really just connecting to the earth because we have rubber, we have these hills, we have all these things that are literally blocking our chakras, literally blocking energy centers, literally blocking the messages and alignment. And so, getting grounded, just putting your eyes on the backyard here, all of it is sensing and knowing and really recalibrating you.
And to add to what you said, they have research that have showed that when you are walking on the sand or on the grass barefoot, it is actually physically decreasing your tension to the point that people who have hypertension they actually saw it, so they could prove by the science things like that are very helpful.
You're right. Quick story. So when we were kids, my mom, if you haven't known, my mom's in the back. Wave your hand, Mom. She would take us to the park. Immediately, she would take us to the park. Immediately, this one would take her shoes off, run out, and just go play. Me, I had a book. I'm a bookie. I'm always reading. So I would literally lay on a blanket and look at her like she was weird, right? Like, what are you doing? Why are you taking your shoes off? Me, this is just me, right? And I'm laying there with this Judy Blume book looking at her have fun, right? And I'm like, I'm having fun too over here. And as we got older, and my sister would say, sister, I'm coming to pick you up. And I'm like, to do what? Because I'm the scheduler. I'm like, I got to have time set, you know. And she's like, just come on. She knew not to tell me where we were going. My mom said I always hated, like, my feet to be dirty, my hands to be dirty. I just hated all that. And she would literally take me to the beach, and she'll say, take off your shoes. And I'm like, for what? and she'll, like, come walk with me into the beach, right? And I'm like, for what? Our feet is going to... I'm just telling her all this stuff, like, my feet are going to be dirty. How are we going to get the sand off? We don't have any towels. We need this, you know. And she's like, do it. And I tell you, and I get a little emotional because it was so liberating. And it was like, and when I was a kid, I did all that, run from the wave and all that. But she would take us there. So now when we go, whatever country we go to the beach or we go to some water, right? And I have to take my shoes off or we'll walk barefoot. And she's like, we're connecting. And I'm like, we are.
That's right. Those play dates are so essential. That book, Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way at Work, she talks about scheduling timeouts, writing in your journal, your morning pages, and just planning play dates, time for yourself. Mm-hmm. Now, this is not where you phone somebody up and buddy up and partner up. It's a time that's scheduled for you to play. Like, whatever your play, it might be going down to the flower mart. It might be just doing painting. It's like whatever you want to do, but it's creative time set aside. I call it sacred time. Mm-hmm. It's just my time to check in with Nicole. I take myself to the movies. I get myself a really great lunch, maybe a glass of wine. You know, like, I'm doing stuff for me. I like me. I don't know. I like hanging out with me. And so those play dates are designed for that. Savor the moment. Savoring is the best way of being present. Savoring the past is also known as being reminiscent. Notice what is going right now and appreciate it. It's literally so important that we start to change our lens of what we're seeing and how we're seeing things. So notice what's going right in every moment that you are, because you can notice all the things that are going wrong. I could do that better. I could say that better. I could, you know, and it's really dialing that down to say, what is going well and right with me today, Lord? Mm-hmm. What is going well right now at this lunch, at this dinner, Lord? You know, it really is like a constant prayer all day long.
Yes.
It's a constant covering all day long. So noticing what's right. Remembering funny moments and laughing out loud, Mom. See, she just laughs on command, you know. It's just literally laughing more. Savoring can improve your mood. Can lead to greater life satisfaction and increased feelings of you got it, appreciation and gratitude. It's gratitude all day.
One of the things I want to touch on, being present. One of the things I've noticed, what do you all notice about what we're doing here? No one has out there what? Cell phone. When you go places, I know you want to take a picture, that's fine. But I'm like, be present, right? When I was in Spain in 2021, my daughter and I went on her 21st birthday. It's just a daughter and mommy trip. And we were walking through the streets. And we were holding hands and we were laughing and talking. But what we noticed the most is the community and family and the closeness of individuals in Spain. And we stayed at an Airbnb. So we weren't in the city where the tourists were. We were in a town, right? And no one had a cell phone out. No one was taking a picture. They were just out like this, eating. And it was generations. It wasn't just the husband and wife. It was the husband and wife, the mom, the dad, the children. They were all there, but no one, and I was telling her, like, look at this. No one is on there. I'm loving this. My daughter's like, Mom, can I move here? I'm like, you can, and I'll visit, you know. So being present, a lot of times people say, oh, I saw you went to such and such, and I'm like, yeah, I was so busy taking it in, I didn't take pictures, right? So I just wanted to touch upon that being present and just being grounded where you are and enjoying it. I know you want to take pictures, and I know you want to maybe text someone, but I would love for you to try to just be there, enjoy it, you know, and things like that. I can't understand when people go to concerts, they have their phone up the whole time. I'm like, how do you enjoy the concert, right?
Oh, this slide is full. Let me get over there. Okay, we're not reading it, but go to Tony. I like him. His article that I really loved was Manage Your Energy and Not Your Time. You can write that one down. Mm-hmm. Manage your energy, not your time.
Yep.
That was given to us in the EDOL program, maybe 2008. Great article. Great article. So I found this other one that he wrote, 6 ways to refuel your energy every day. Make sufficient time for sleep. Yes. Take a renewal break every 90 minutes. Set your time. I set my timer. Why set the timer? Because it centers the left brain, L-directed thinking, which I have trained tremendously at Pepperdine. So I have to know when to dial that down, dial that back, and no, I need to access my right brain, my right hemisphere thinking. First of all, what I'm going for is an androgynous mind, using my left and my right brain fluidly throughout the day, from focused thinking to diffuse thinking. Mm-hmm. From head down work for 90 minutes, head up work. Let me appreciate what's going on here, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's constantly going back and forth. Yes, ma'am.
Here's a microphone.
And I think maybe you just hinted at it, but what's a renewal break?
What's a renewal break? So we work for 90 minutes, and a renewal break could be a brisk walk, a little exercise. It could just be making yourself that cup of tea with honey because you're thinking about it. I should get up. I should take a break. Mm-hmm. I should stretch. I should squat. I've been sitting all day. You know, I should do some of this. My knees work. I should remind them, knees, you work. You're good. Right. It's a renewal break. So it's something that's going to refresh you, rejuvenate you, and give you more energy, and then you get back to it.
Yeah.
So that's the whole purpose of the 90 minutes. Like, you work our minds, so pretty much it's like by age. So when I was teaching in high school, it's like, if I'm working with 10th graders, they're about 14, 15 years old. And so the theory behind that is they have about 14 to 15 minutes of attention span. Mm-hmm. So if I did an average of the age in here, I would say, okay, the attention span is about 60 to 65 minutes. And then we need breaks. So that's why we have the jars, the activities to break it up, shake it up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, mm-hmm. Renewals.
Run up your heart.
Run up the heart, get moving, or take a nap. Yeah, take a nap. Practice appreciation and savoring. One of the least recognized ways we squander energy is just through negative emotion. Far quicker way is to notice what's going on and then quickly think about what's right. Opportunities can appreciate someone can change your life. Next slide.
Research shows that adopting an attitude of gratitude, simply expressing appreciation and being more thankful, can measurably improve your overall well-being. For example, studies prove that gratitude can increase happiness, reduce depression, and strengthen resiliency. Grateful people often experience reduced blood pressure, less chronic pain, increased energy, even longer lives. People who purposefully express more gratitude report higher self-esteem than those who don't, and they're more likely to help others, a pro-social behavior also linked to greater happiness. People who capture grateful thoughts before bed sleep better than those who don't. Why so many positive changes? Because gratitude actually rewires our brains, kickstarting the production of dopamine and serotonin. Like antidepressants, these feel-good neurotransmitters activate the bliss center of the brain, creating feelings of happiness and contentment. This appears to be self-perpetuating. Research suggests that with regular practice, you'll train your prefrontal cortex to better appreciate and retain positive experiences and thoughts, and to deflect the negative ones. Here are a few simple ways to deliberately cultivate that attitude of gratitude. Celebrate minor accomplishments. Think about what you have rather than dwelling on what you don't. Tell the people in your life something you appreciate about them. Tell yourself too. Volunteer, hold a door for a stranger, or simply smile more, and you'll probably feel better, as kindness and giving are connected to gratitude. Similar positive brain changes can occur from regular meditation and mindfulness. Keep a daily gratitude journal using an old-fashioned notebook or a high-tech app. The science is clear. Give gratitude a go. You'll be thankful you did.
We're back on the gratitude, to reframe, renew, reset, and restore. It's gratitude, it's appreciation, it's trying new things, it's kindness. We can go to the next one.
Resetting, to set again or differently and hit the restart button. How many of you had to reset and restart after the pandemic? Right? We all did, right? We're thinking differently, we're teaching differently. Jennifer and I were talking about just in how we are in the classroom. The pandemic affected us so greatly that we have to just reset and do things differently, but also I was hired to help other people to see that change is good and that change is okay and that we are going to have to do things differently, right? Resetting begins with you. Cultivate an outward mindset. I hope that you all invite us back. We have a whole thing on outward mindset, being in the box and out of the box, so I hope that we can come back one day. Make things easier, or you can make things harder. So you make that choice when you get up, right? So when you get up, you're going to say, this is going to be a great day, not so great day, or a bad day. It's your choice when you wake up, right? So make that choice, right? So I think all of you said, I'm going to have a great day today. I'm going to start it off here at the breakfast with some good friends, and then you all came.
Where the magic is happening, outside of your comfort zone. It's happening outside of your comfort zone. We have a short activity. It's a joy life cycle wheel.
So you have this. So we're going to go through this together. We're going to start at the business and career. So you have this wheel, and we're just going to go through each one, And what I would like for you to do, you have a pen. You're going to just place an X between 1 and 10 of how you feel about this, each area. So let's start with the business career. From 1 to 10, how do you feel? How do you feel about your current career? If you're not in a career and you're retired, just how do you feel about maybe a business that you may have started or you want to start? So mark it an X from 1 to 10.
And don't overthink it.
All right, the next one, I'm just going to kind of lean up. Finances. How are you feeling about your finances? Just mark it from 1 to 10. Do you want to increase them? Are you comfortable? You want to find a different revenue stream? Your finances. The next one is your health. Did you make a resolution to go to the gym or do more walking or, eat more moderately, or you're fine where you are with your health? So the next one is family and friends. So one side you're going to do family, and one other side you're going to do friends. So how are you with your family? How do you feel about your family? Like how, what's going on? And then the next one is your friends. Have you reached out to that friend that you said you were going to reach out to? Have you gone to lunch? Friend.
And we know they're not all 10, so
right.
It's okay.
It's
don't
okay.
judge it.
There's no
judging.
No.
Yeah.
This is for you.
If you have a couple of 3s or 4s, don't look at someone else's and go, man, they have 6 and 7. What's happening with my life? Mark that 3 on that 3.
Yeah. Romance.
No, I'm not checking.
Don't check. Yeah, romance. How's your romance life? Do you have one? Do you want one? Did you have one? Do you want another
There's
one?
a negative. If there's a deficit for love and romance, put that negative. It's -5 today.
It's okay.
That's all right.
Yes. No judgment here.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. The next one is personal growth. Right? Are you reading the book that you said you were going to read on that long list? Are you going to those seminars and workshops and trainings? Or are you just doing some meditation? Just whatever you're doing for personal growth. Are you doing those things? I'm going to say yes because you're here. Fun and recreation. Are you having fun? Not
you
just
have
here,
fun?
but do you have
Do you
fun?
have fun?
I'm telling you guys, I'm the computer, technical, operations, systems person. So I'm always, this one here will call me, sister, what are you doing? I'm like, working. What are you doing? She's like, let's go have lunch. And then we'll go and have lunch, right?
Or let's pack a bag. What are you doing tonight?
Right.
Costa Rica.
And then she'll go, true story, right?
Costa Rica, it sounds like.
I'm sitting in my bedroom. My husband's watching football. We're laughing and talking. I'm folding clothes, getting ready for the week. It's Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning, and I get a ping on my phone. I didn't get up right away because I'm like, that's work. But I ended up getting up. I look at it, and it's like, your flight leaves at 11 p.m. to Costa Rica. I'm like, what? And then I look at my husband, and I said, honey, I think I'm going to Costa Rica. He was like, with who? He said, I already know, your sister. And we left. And I was like, all these things start crashing. I got a class to teach. She said, it's online. I could teach from right there in my hotel villa, whatever we were in. So, yeah. So, yes.
It's finding the joy.
We're having fun, yes.
Yeah, it's finding the joy. It's finding those moments, finding those spaces, recalibrating, checking in with self. And, yes, my husband was at work as well. And I knew I wasn't going to see him because he was closing the store down. I said, oh, well, I'll see you next Saturday because I'll be in Costa Rica. But it's finding those joys.
So now, thank you so much, Sylvia, for sharing that. So now what you're going to do is start with the business and career. You're going to take your pen and you're going to connect the dots.
And it's not going to be perfect, ladies. It's not a circle. Well, it could be if you're all tens.
It's okay.
It's okay. Just try to connect.
So you're going to connect the dots.
Yeah.
Go around, go around. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Keep going around.
This is good.
We call this it's the life cycle, right?
Yeah.
And how does a wheel look? It's just perfect, right? How many of you have a constellation like a star? Yours look like a heart.
Little dips there.
What is yours? Yours took a deep dive. That's okay.
That's okay. Little area.
And it's going to keep going around, right?
That's all right.
So I call this we changed it, right? It is a life cycle, and they use this for other purposes, but for this one, we call it the joy. So finding your joy. So the areas that you scored high or that you marked high, that's where your joy is. Keep placing that energy in those areas. Key place. So when you look at this, and then possibly next year we'll do it again, right? And then you're going to see how the other areas are going to lift up. You're going to see it. Watch.
And because we focus on positive psychology and positive organizational
Absolutely.
change, I'm not concerned with those 2s, 3s, 4s, and -5s.
No.
Because I know when you focus on the 7, 8s, the 6s, the 10s, the other areas, it has like no chance but to reverberate to the
Absolutely.
other sides and other areas of your life. So
Yes.
give attention to the joy.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the 4 dimensions of emotional intelligence. First, we like Daniel Goleman, but we've incorporated some new sources in here. So I'm going to read that first bullet. So Goleman talks about empathy, social awareness, self-awareness, regulation, those kind of components of emotional intelligence. We like to overlay it with this one, just noticing and understanding the emotions in oneself. If you can pick that up. Noticing and understanding the emotions in others. Right? If you can just, it's a lot of sensing, it's a lot of feeling, it's a lot of reading people's auras, and people might just say, I just don't like the vibe. You better believe it. Move. Switch tables, don't last too long there. It's really sensing and knowing. Being effective, having effective regulation of emotion in oneself. This involves your ability to effectively deal with your own emotion. A person with high capability in this aspect will be better than most people in preventing his or her emotions from automatically influencing his behavior. Basically, not getting emotionally hijacked. Give me those emotions. You know, hijack. Think of that word, like totally ripped from under you. Unfair. It's an unfair power advantage. Not getting emotionally hijacked throughout your day because maybe someone cut you off, or any of these smaller slights or resentments that we tend to carry throughout the day. They really weigh us down. So, not getting emotionally taxed, worn down, or hijacked. Using emotions to facilitate your performance. This relates to your ability to make use of emotions by directing them toward constructive activities and personal performance. I like to stop and ask, is this helpful? Is this thought helpful right now? Do I need it? If it's worry, inside of the doctoral program, they taught us to attend to the worry, turn to the worry verse. Yes, worry, what do you need today? Because worry calls up stress, the first cousin, then they call up the bean counter, oh my God, and now we have a three-way call with worry, stress, and bean counting. Worry, stress, and bean counting. So I can't get the three of them on a line together. So I have to turn inward. We call it taking appreciative turns. You can write it, you turn, and you address the worry, you address the doubt, you write it down, and I'm coming up with just multiple solutions until literally I silence the worry part. Next slide for me. This is Davies and Roberts model, and per the definition, the individual who's emotionally intelligent to help you reframe and reset and renew and restart understands your emotion and is aware of it. You can speak to it specifically, and I call it name that feeling, name that specific feeling. There might be big blocks, mad, sad, happy, scared, but if you can get to it and say, it's agitation I'm feeling, it's frustration, it's overwhelmness, it's not enoughness. So naming the will. And we have an activity for it, and it's our last one for this morning.
And so it's another colorful wheel.
It has 72 different words on there. I know. Vanessa did a great job. It has 72 different specific words on this particular chart, and the feeling wheel is helpful for you to have direct reflection, daily reflection, and then long-term reflection.
Absolutely.
So take a look at the wheel. It's useful in identifying specific feelings and emotions you may be experiencing at any given moment. That means while you're driving at the light, are you staring at someone? Like what's happening? Like recalibrate that. What's going on, right? So even in the moment, if you experience generally a sad feeling, use the outer band to get to the specific word.
Right.
I call it, it's like a power game. Name that emotion. Name that wheel. Where am I? It says maybe if you're experiencing feeling ignored. Mm-hmm. So note that reverse can also happen. You might use the will to realize the feeling is inadequate, which may be rooted in fear or deeper rejection levels.
So there was a time, I was feeling depressed, or I thought I was feeling sad, and I pretty much from childhood on, I've been a just upbeat, happy person, and so what was happening was that I got my bachelor's, and I was interviewing. And so they were like, you got the education, but you don't have the experience, right? So I'm like, but I do. I have a little, but I'm really a, go-getter, and I can jump right in. So I go to AT&T, and I'm positive, but I'm like, I'm going to hear it again, right? And one beautiful person, soul lady, who's here actually, my mentor, she saw me. So what I was feeling I wasn't sad. I wasn't feeling seen. I wasn't being seen. And she saw me, and she hired me as her assistant supervisor. And she she said, look, this is what we're going to do. This is the goals. This is how we're going to do it. And then she's like, I'm going to help you do it. And she gave me a chance. And that's Andrea Jackson. And I was in my 20s, and I was like, I was telling myself, am I depressed? Am I sad? She was like, no, because we laugh and talk. And then I was like, I know what it was. I wasn't feeling like I was being seen, because I felt like I was working really hard, and I was trying to, I was the mom, I was going to school full time, I was working part-time jobs, and I had a problem with not being seen. It wasn't that I was sad or depressed. I was just like, no one sees me for me. And so she gave me that chance, and we have this joke because as we got in the department and we saw how dysfunctional it was, we realized, we said, one day we're going to be sitting in front of Starbucks laughing and talking about this experience. And we've done that 20 times over. So thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, so you can use the feeling wheel to just take a look at some of those words and try to pinpoint how you're exactly feeling right now in the moment.
Yes.
And if you don't see the word there, write it. For us, reset your heart by using the life cycle wheel. Find your joy in integrating specific reflection throughout your day. This is just pictures of joy, travel, trying new things, almost dying on an ATV in Sedona, savoring the moment, graduating from Pepperdine. My sister was a commencement speaker at a charter school. There's her in a corner with her family in, was that Greece?
Mykonos, yes.
Mykonos.
Yes.
That's that trip, that spontaneous trip. I woke up one morning, I said, dear God, I need just 4 tickets, just 4, to Costa Rica. And I landed on 3, and I booked it. I walked to my daughter's room. I said, pack a bag. We're going to Costa Rica tonight.
Oh, yeah, this is the picture here.
This is Costa Rica, just joy. Finding your joy and your bliss. And that look where you see me at the bottom just staring at everything. I was looking at the sunrise over the River Nile in Egypt in October. And it was like, what am I looking at? It was the sunrise, and it was captivating. And so this is just reflecting, savoring, being present in the moment. So we want you to find your joy pictures, your gratitude, your bliss, and put them up on the slide as well. Next slide. Restoring to bring it back. When something's restored, it always comes back with abundance. Mm-hmm. Next slide. God restored Job. The Lord restored the fortunes of Job when he prayed for his friends, and the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Mm-hmm. Job 43:10-17. Next slide. What are you going to do to restore your energy at home and in the workplace? Next slide. Change brings many losses. COVID has changed everything, and so we have to be very specific on the type of losses we are experiencing and speak power to it with your words. Name it specifically. Is it a loss of what was? Maybe colleagues or competence for a while. Is it a loss of status or security or reputation? A loss of time or control? Name that loss so you can identify it so you're not anchoring on it throughout the day.
Yes.
Good, better, best. What might be the best outcome for me when you're starting to think some other pervasive thoughts? Is it temporary? Is it permanent? Is it pervasive? How might I adjust my mindset in the moment? If I had my wheel in a car, what word would I point to right now on that wheel?
Right.
What might I do to maintain my peace and reclaim my power? We're all dealing with constant change. Change also opens the doors, though, to possibilities of what might be, what could be. I like the word might because it uses it. The presupposition under there is positive. What might be? How might I feel? What might it look like? And basically talking yourself into it and not talking yourself out of things.
Right.
My name's Laura Galloway. I'm the Director of Development for Advancement, specifically for GSEP. I've been here about 4 years now, and it's just such a wonderful event. So to wrap us up, I just want to thank again, can we have a round of applause for our speakers, Dr. Nicole, Dr. Laura. Incredible. And again, thank you to our wonderful hostess with the mostest, Kathy Donhuckle. Thank you all for being here, and we look forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you.